Yeah, what's going on, family? It's your man B Miles coming to you live once again with another live stream. It's definitely going to be another good one tonight. Mm-hmm. Definitely going to be another good one tonight. All right, all right, all right. Just give me 1 second. Hello, yes, y'all. I'm back. Apologize for that. Had to get some tea in me. Definitely had to give me some tea. Hey, Sister Iman. Peace to you, sister. Good to see you. Hey, the author. Hey, Tim Calista Scipio, Angel Girl Jane. Definitely had to clear my throat. This weather has been a bit crazy. You want to say rainy, Lanier? It's been kind of crazy, but we've been surviving and stuff like that. Yes, and I really want to say thank you, of course, again. This is the email for a lot of those articles that she sent to me. So I'm definitely going to be. What's up, Don Ross? Hey, Michelle Azubair. It's definitely going to be. Starting tomorrow. A lot of content I'm going to be bringing to y'all early in the rising and stuff like that. And I definitely look forward to bringing some more content later. Throughout the day. Or if not, I'm definitely going to be spreading a lot of those articles over the course of the next coming days because it's a lot of content I can definitely, go ahead and put out. Good to see everybody from the side of the chat. I'm glad that everybody from the side of the chat. And I definitely will say, Noble Isaiah L, he's going to be on here shortly. I sent him the link. He's getting everything set up. So, like I said, I just want everybody to come inside of the chat so we can fill in. Everybody can greet one another. And I just really want to say thank you to everybody who's been, behind the scenes, that's been really researching. Thank you, Sister Iman, once again. She's been doing a heck of a job. She sent a lot of articles worth of content that y'all going to need to hear about. And I'm going to be posting the links in there. If y'all don't see them, just let me know. But I usually 99% I post the links inside of the description, so y'all can go ahead and check out the information. Yes, because like I tell you all the time, you really need to, what I'm saying we'll be teaching you all over here is learn how to also do your own research as well. Because it's really gonna come to a time where, you're gonna really have to learn how to start diving in and digging in deep on your own. Don't get me wrong, we're here to always, keep bringing information, but you also in your spare time are going to learn how to dig into this stuff now. Now, some of the videos are going to start to be a little longer because the laptop is going to be coming real soon, which means I'm going to be I'm reading a lot of the articles and stuff right there, face to face with you, stuff like that. So it's definitely going to be a lot of great information that you're going to want to pay attention to. And I definitely will say tonight it's definitely going to be a treat. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check on them. All right, y'all. So we are definitely on schedule. He's going to be on here shortly. Hey, BB, what's going on, FIFO? It's good to see a lot of familiar faces. Or, like I said, right on time. There he is. There he is. Peace to you, no Isaiah. How you doing, brother?
Peace and love. How's everything? Can you hear me?
We can see you. You sound muted.
Can y'all hear me? Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love to the chat.
Can y'all hear Isaiah?
Okay. Okay, let me see.
Say something again, Isaiah. Oh, y'all can hear him?
Okay.
All right, okay. Go on, more. Take the floor. Now yield.
Okay, yeah, so well, I know that a lot of things been taking place around the world. Um and especially where you see incidents take place like what took place in Wisconsin, and this is all pushed by the what you would call the colonists, and a lot of they go under different names, many different names, and one of the names they've been going under is um, left wing media, or Democrat, but they're really colonists, and they've been trying to push a quote unquote race war, which is due to the fact that their plans have not been uh, going as scheduled. So they've been, going a lot of different routes to get things going for them, because things are falling apart because of their plan that haven't been going according to schedule. So you see things like what took place in Wisconsin, where they are painting this narrative where you have a guy who looked like us, who acted out of anger and rage, allegedly, um, drove his red SUV through a Christmas parade and struck children and grandmothers and injured people. And they say that 12 people was injured. And, when you do the numerology, 12, 1 and 2 is 3. And this person who allegedly did this act has a first of all, he's allegedly 39 years old, and 3 and 9 is 12, and that gives you a 3 again. So it's all adding up according to the Masonic agenda, even down to the point where they're upset because of how, um, they painted him to be upset from the verdict that took place with Kyle Rittenhouse. And it's so funny that, well, it's interesting. Why are they out there celebrating Christmas right now, and it's just skipping over, Thanksgiving, when this is a holiday that their ancestors created? And the reason why they're skipping over this is because this is not something to be thankful for. It's not something that they want to take credit for the robbery, the murder, the plunder, the rape, the birthright theft, the stealing of the birthright and the estate from our people on this landmass. So of course they want to just bypass and go to a good, fun, happy time a month before it actually takes place. So this is all staged, okay? Um, Even down to the fact that this person was just released a couple days ago on a cash bond for 1,000 notes, and has a history apparently of running into crowds or running people over, and all different other type of misconduct and things, whatever. But it's so interesting how the elite chooses to use specific people in our um, community to carry out their actions, to hide their hand and hide what they're doing, and then promote through different media outlets what they're doing, and trying to get us to be at odds and war with each other. And it's no different than what they're doing with Ethiopia, where they're going through their situation between themselves, and then here comes the colonist media from the Western society, and they say, oh, we think we have the formula to help them. after they're causing division, not just in Ethiopia, but globally. And so right now you're seeing them actually carrying out uh, divide and conquer tactics across the land. You're also seeing massive protests take place, you know, over in Italy, Greece, Melbourne, Croatia, Germany, Australia, Austria. Um, and the only place that seemed to be dragging their feet is our people here. Now, uh, if you haven't been paying close attention to what's been going on in other countries, you can observe how they are fighting back. And yeah, I know we talk about protests, but protest is not going to lead to a effective change. It'll just, cure. It's like putting a band-aid on what's going on now. But a lot of people are woke and they see what's going on with this whole Kool-Aid agenda, this adjustment agenda, and with the Kool-Aid agenda, getting people to drink the Kool-Aid. They've been disappearing a lot of people who've been drinking it, and a lot of people been falling down from drinking it. And our people like to be in these type of situations where we depend on them, but it's coming to a close universally. Um, and for many different reasons. One is because when you look at examples like in Australia, you see that right now the Australian army has been invoked to remove their quote unquote citizens to these camps. You can do the research for yourself, but it's happening now. They already have camps already around the different territories on this land prepared. And the reason why they're moving these people to these different camps is because they're saying that these people were infected from drinking the Kool-Aid, and we're also removing those who are in close contact from those who like the blueberry Kool-Aid. So that if you didn't get the first wave of the Kool-Aid from the pink flavor, now you got to get the second wave, which is the blue, and then now you got to get the white flavor. So um, and now you're seeing the European countries, the Western societies are being dismantled right now, and it's karma coming back to them because right now Africa is at a all-time low due to this whole adjustment and uh, Kool-Aid testing, and then you see on the flip side they trying to make everybody drink the Kool-Aid, but then their people is getting it the worst. So. Uh, on top of that, you also have the um, the European countries actually in the heart or in the thick of this fight, and you have a lot of them going down from taking this. So you're going to see it speed up. It's going to get even more rapid over here, and a lot of the people that have rebelled or protested right now they're being shifted to camps. Okay, and this is a part of the agenda of the deep state or elite, and also through the CDC. The CDC have taken on a form of authority of their own, and they created what's called shielding camps, and you can look this up for yourself. Um, they're trying to get people to. That's right. They're trying to get people to take. Well, they're trying to. Fauci and others are trying to target babies and toddlers to drink the Kool-Aid. And this is by the first schedule or the first quarter in 2022. So, um, you know, this is all, this is all according to that plan. The Lord and LaSherry Bay say, yep, the mystery pack. They want people to drink the mystery pack of the Kool-Aid and because they like surprises. But I wouldn't go ahead and drink it because we see what's happening to the European world right now. They're being dismantled by their own, and I don't think we should get involved in that. Um, and you're seeing that the ones who didn't get the Europeans who've been coming at other Europeans, quote unquote, uh, saying, "Oh, you didn't drink the Kool Aid, so now you're a threat to society. Well, now, because they haven't taken it, now you see that uh, a lot of them have been betrayed because now their um, Kool-Aid passport has been deactivated because they won't get the third and fourth, the mystery pack. They don't know what's in these new vials. So that's what's actually happening now. And so it's going to continue to happen. Um, and BB says, why they want us injected so bad? Well, um, it's part of the population control. And it's also part of the agenda to change this planet from a human-based society to one where it's merged with technology, and eventually technology will take over. So that's what we're looking at now. Um, and they're speeding this up because one of the part of the reasons is because Joe Biden's approval rating is at an all-time low, is in the 30s, and this is around the time where you're going to see them try to shift gears and move him out the way. They already putting out reports that he's mentally declining rapidly. So you're beginning to see this now, and uh, this is how they're able to target a lot of our people. So uh, through the media, and you see right now who's the media being controlled by, and a lot of it's being controlled by the same ones that are causing this constructed global collapse. And so right now you see, speaking of Joe Biden, you see that um, he is going along with this whole um, collapse of the logistics, the food, water, um, technology, all of the collapse of these things, and agriculture. So you see that the Federal Reserve is printing more fiat, and what you call fiat is you might call them dollars, but we know them as Federal Reserve notes. It says Federal Reserve notes on the alleged so-called dollar. They're printing more of these, and it's making the value of these notes decrease rapidly. And when that happened, this is an indicator of what's going to come. You're going to see more looting. You're going to see more people rioting, stealing, um, shooting, all different type of things. And when you really look at how this is orchestrated, it's coming from the very people that you think you're voting for, on a local level, federal level, or even international level. So um, the fiat decreased in value, and the longer that this fiat is being circulated, now you begin to see um, more countries getting away from this system and going to their own banking systems that's dealing with and backed by precious metals, gold and silvers. And you start to see that with the collapse, uh, Biden and his administration and the rest of the deep state and the global elites are trying to hold on to it as much as they can. And they are actually putting measures in place to secure that, because they can't see past when that 2012 axis hit, they couldn't see past the time that they can be able to control. So now this is like panic mode. And so one of the things that Biden has done is place Jerome Powell in office for another 4 years, who is controlling the Federal Reserve note, which the Federal Reserve note, a lot of these CEOs for these big time corporations are buying back debt. They are printing a lot of fiat, and they are buying a lot of their debt bonds, and the bonds that they have created through birth certificates, driver's license, and marriage certificates. They are buying them back. That is the um, iron, or the neck lock, or the wrist lock, or the foot lock, ankle lock, uh, in modern time, instead of having the chains on you physically so that you will know that you are oppressed. they remove that and make you carry it around yourself and flaunt it as your own. And so when you hear stupid statements like people say my birth certificate or your birth certificate or my driver's license or your driver's license, it's not ours. This is tracking mechanisms that they use for chattel slavery, and that's what's going on. And so when you look at um, him placing Jerome Powell in the Federal Reserve office as the vice CEO, whatever, this gives them more time, another 4 years, to continue to crash everything down and control everything in a social engineering way to induce people to do things that they don't want to do. And a lot of these stores that's being looted and robbed right now are being bought or are owned by a lot of the elite corporate owners. So when you see CVS, you see a lot of these um, Walgreens and other stores like that being robbed, or you're seeing these um, you're seeing these designer stores and different things like that being robbed. You gotta ask yourself the question: who owns these stores? And it's the elite. A lot of time, it's them. And look into how they collect insurance months or years before these things actually take place. The destruction of these stores, they're collecting insurance and actually stimulating more funds from it. So it's all orchestrated, and the key for them is to buy a lot of the real estate and resources, um, and that's actually what's taking place. Where they have us as the people relying on their fiat system so much that we are able to purchase real things with um, the fiat. Right, we're able to purchase a lot of different things with the fiat. Right, but when the fiat is no more, how are you going to be able to get your hands on real things if you don't have the means to trade and exchange? If you're not used to the trade and barter system, this is why you see them buying up a lot of the properties and real estate. This is why in the our state, this is why you see them buying up a lot of the gold, silver, and precious metals. This is why you see them buying up a lot of the food supply and putting them in underground bunkers because they think something is going to happen, or they already know because they're projecting it. And when you have this situation, people are just going to begin to start doing more robbing and looting and killing and things like that. And then on top of that, people are going to start to uh, desire a quote unquote socialist society. Now, mind you, all of these different forms of government are all controlled by the few. It's just different spins on it for different cultures. So there's no really democratic system, republican system, socialist system, communist system. They're all one. They're just controlled through different means of the elites, and they all sit at the same table, and they all control the world through these systems. So um, the goal is to have the tangible land and resources back in our hand. And so how do you do that? You have to do that through getting access to these things. And there's many different routes or methods to do that, but that's what we're looking at. um, and if you haven't been watching uh, Eco Health Alliance, they have been talking about the nanoparticles that they're scheduled to release. And this is actually, if you haven't seen the movie, the new James Bond movie, go watch it because they're talking about the biological warfare that's happening in there. They're talking about the smallpox, the Ebola, the nano skin technology. So just go watch that. And it's all about um, socializing you through this method of the images, so you're desensitized to it. So most of our people aren't taking the Kool-Aid. So in this film, they're showing you the other methods that they're going to use to get our people to take it. Okay. Peace of love, Javante Miller. Um, and this is why you need to really look into, again, we've been saying this for a while. Health is the biggest thing um, in this, as a part of this equation. And when you look at, again, going back to the Australian armies, a lot of them have begun. They were summoned to remove people. So this is what you can begin to expect on a global level. Moving people from Benjari, okay, into different camps. And I just spoke with a mother earlier today who have seen the FEMA camps that they have that's not too far from her in Cali, and you know how they have it sectioned off with gates and things like that. So, no, it's not to scare you. It's just to again get you to be prepared. You already been seeing how the food, you know, products have been increasing. The gas, all of these things been going up due to what's been taking place. Now, on one end, you have all of this happening, plus you have um, climate change. Now, Nancy Pelosi is talking about, um, climate change is a religious concern. It's a religious thing, and she had, they're talking about the green policies that they want to put in place, but you know, when you look at the green policies and you want to save Earth, you got to ask yourself the question: what are you doing to f up the Earth? What are you doing to take us off track? Why should you be allowed or given more funds because you already shown with the funds and resources that you already have access to that you're destroying Earth? And so now the universe, as the Earth is doing a cleanse, daughter Earth is doing a cleanse, and Mother Universe is calling for her people to rise and come back into her own. And a lot of our people are afraid to step up and take their rightful place. Uh, but you can't be afraid anymore because you don't have that much time when you're dealing with these people, especially if you're into like designer clothes and you're into all of these different things. Um, when these things don't get recycled properly into the atmosphere, this is causing more destruction of Earth than a lot of the plastic. So, Dolce and Gabbana, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, um, you name it. A lot of these uh, clothing lines, Tommy Hilfiger, all these things, Polo, Ralph Lauren, all these things that you wear, and a lot of stuff that get recycled. That stuff don't degrade in the environment, so it's not biodegradable. So it's actually causing more toxins that's being produced in the atmosphere. And so now, allegedly, all of the elite are trying to get together to tackle this problem. But again, if you knew what you were doing in the first place, we wouldn't get to that because a lot of their methods of how they're doing, um, you know, or going about electricity and energy is destroying Earth. So you're being called to step up right now. And you might say, well, what do we know? We haven't been studying those things. A lot of the times, they don't promote our people and the brilliance and the excellent minds that's out there, where most of the inventions that you use today come from our people. Um, this laptop that I'm using to interface, the microchip and the chips in it came from the soil, the land, the natural resources, which one of our own put together to help us to be able to interface to this very day. .com is created by one of our own. So a lot of this stuff is already within our DNA, and a lot of our people already built this stuff. We just have to get away from them to be able to use it. And then, so I'm not buying into the whole greenhouse thing by them. It's just more funds for them to f up this planet. Um, and then you have these billionaires going back and forth right now. Elon Musk is beefing with Jamie Dimon or Dimon. demon, however you want to say it, and J.P. Morgan. They're going back and forth over transactions, and Goldman Sachs is involved. And this is, a lawsuit pending against Elon Musk, and you see over the weekend that their system went down, and a lot of people who use Tesla wasn't able to get the necessary help and aid that they needed um, when the systems crash. And so when you have these billionaires going back and forth, again, remember the ones who aren't on the elite level as far as finances is concerned, they're going to be caught in the middle of what the elite does to each other and to the people as a sacrifice. So, and then speaking of billionaires, you also got Jeff Bezos, who donated 100 million to Obama Foundation. And you got to ask yourself, like, what does he need all of that finance for? And before he donated it to Obama, he also donated uh, funds to um, the Clinton Foundation. So again, these are two Democrats. They are on record for taking out a lot of people, wiping out a lot of people. And the Obama Foundation is an organization that is Chicago based, and it's supposed to be a nonprofit, a 501c3 that is a overseer organization for the Barack Obama Presidential Center, and they're supposed to be funding children to go to college and things like that. But um, a lot of these funds are being used to help out the elite, and I always say that this term that you see Biden in, this is really Obama's third term, because remember Biden was the vice president of the corporation for Obama, and they basically got the same personnel in from 2008 on. So this is his third term, and you see he's really the chess piece behind this. You gotta ask yourself, why is he at all of these big time meetings where Joe Biden is? He's another key piece that's involved, and you gotta not just throw him off the table so fast. And so a lot of times, again, the elite like to hide behind what they're doing right in plain sight, just like the situation with young Dolph. Um, you know, you could say that that is our people, but it just screams colonist activities and actions. Um, whether you want to say certain people who was involved with beefing back and forth, and just look at the big picture and say that it was the elite behind this, because they a lot of times like to initiate beef amongst our own people because they say drama sells. Um, and then you also look at how they move and train us to move. So uh, we know that it wasn't just our people that did these things. So um, and that's kind of like what's going on with this whole astro world thing. I haven't really spoken on this whole astro world thing because there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the background that you know he's being sued. Travis Scott's being sued, and everybody want to join in. Well, Astro World owners are being sued, and they're outside his house and things like that, saying it's a ritual. Now we do know that these things are real. How they do rituals on our people every day through advertising, but that's nothing to be afraid of, because a lot of times they get you to be afraid of, so you won't face it. And when you're afraid of something, you only run from it. And we got to stop running, especially if we're on our own land. And so when you look at rituals and taking place at, for example, Bohemian Grove, where they did this big ritual, um, yes, that's real, but you have to also know what's going on and not just write it off as, oh, that's Illuminati, this or that. If you gotta ask yourself, if you know what the so-called secret society groups names are, then it wouldn't be a secret. So that is a psyop, that is a fake out move. So you gotta really see what's going on because things are happening in layers. So uh, the Astro World incident, yeah, yes, people, casualties and injuries and deaths and things of that nature. But also study how they use these incidents to capitalize. They use these incidents to capitalize on a lot of these situations to take away more of your privileges. And just like with Young Dolph, going back to that, with this whole thing, you have the mayor saying this is why we need to take away guns. This is why we need to, restrict and cancel these things because of these type of situations when they know that they're the ones behind it. And so this is why we need to really start thinking about life beyond them, life beyond uh, colonizers or colonists' control. Africa, that continent, their leaders, a lot of them are trying to unite and think about life without them. And that's what we should be thinking as well. You see, I know many people on this live right now can see that they are falling. So why would you continuously want to be a part of them? This is the perfect time to begin to build your own and to think about the future generations because a lot of our people uh, right now, some of them they're going to continue to go with the system. They have faith in the system. They have faith in the people that is controlling, and they think that things will get back on track. But there's evidence showing that it's only going further off course from what you were accustomed to in 2019. And with all the planetary changes that's coming up in 2022, um, the universe won't take it anymore. So you are the universe's chosen, and you don't have a choice. So I'm just here as a messenger, your brother, your friend, to help you to get in the right thought pattern. Uh, B Miles is here to give you the updates what's going on globally with the weather. He's giving you updates on different topics so you can stay in the know. And we are carrying out this mission to raise awareness, but it's also to help us to do things and build solutions. And one of the first things to take an action is to take an audit. Okay, you have to be aware of what's going on. So you can't just be a fool and think you're just going to do some things just because you have a piece of information. You have to know what's going on first and evaluate things before you can start to take action. So one of the major keys is discussing things like this, what's happening, so we can know what to do. And that's what we're doing, carrying that out now. And then from there, we become effective in our efforts when we know what's going on and when we learn from what happened in the past, because a lot of this stuff that's taking place now is not new. There's a quote, there's nothing new under the sun. A lot of this stuff happened in many ages ago. And when you look at uh, time and you look at how a lot of these events already took place, then we can be able to study those things and go about corrective history where we are getting to the why things happen and what led to these events. So that's what we're actually looking at now. Um, oh yeah, and mind you, while all of these things are taking place, um, with the decision coming down from Kyle being found innocent, and you see him doing a gesture, a Mason gesture, where his hand covered, hidden. That's a Mason gesture, and so you see that this already has ties to their agenda. So we can't really trust what you see in that regard. It's really not fully displayed while all of this stuff is taking place. You see Andrew Coffey, the fourth. He was found not guilty as well, and they charged him for alleged first degree murder, but he was found guilty. He's one of us, but they're not talking about that. This the media decides to get you to focus on what they desire you to see so that they can get a reaction from you. They can get an emotional response from you to get you to do what they desire you to do, so they can take away more of your freedom or purported freedom. And so, what happens then when the um, media is who's supposed to be the watchdog of the people start biting the people, when they start turning on the people and trying to control the people because they have uh, a script given down to them from their owners? Then you have to start creating your own media, and that's something that we're doing right now. That's something that we can actually do. um, Tim Calisipi says Kyle Rittenhouse is a crisis actor from Sandy Hook. I couldn't agree. I agree with you. He is a crisis actor, so I definitely agree with you on that. Um, and so you just gotta be careful and watch out for a lot of these um, staged events. A lot of times when you see things on the surface, it's not what it appears to be from the ones who are telling you about the story. Remember, the first one who reports on the story is the one who's going to catch the most traction, because our people have been trained to hear the lie and repeat the lie. So um, once that catches wind, the sale is set, and a lot of our people repeat what's taking place in the media without researching, and you'll find out that a lot of these people are actors, like Brother Tim brought up. So you can't trust what you see on the surface. And so, something that we're planning on doing, well, we aren't going to say everything, but we do have things that we're planning on doing, because they are speeding up their actions. And Australia is a prime example. When they couldn't get them all to comply with the Kool-Aid, they also started bringing in rats. So they couldn't get them to comply with that. They started bringing in other plagues, and they couldn't get them to comply with that. Then they started to lock down for 10 days. They couldn't get them with that. Then now we're going to start um, moving you to camps. Okay, so this is just the beginning. And the rest of the world sees what's going on, but they have our people perfectly programmed over here to continue to fight this Kool-Aid versus non-Kool-Aid drinker battle. So that's what's happening now. So any questions as we covering this information?
Any questions, family? Any questions, family? Before we go on, any questions?
Okay, Cash Money says, I have a question. Is there an afterlife? If so, where do we go when we die? That's a good question. Uh so we know that matter of fact, let me just do this while I'm at it. Okay. One second. He asking about the afterlife. So let me do this real quick. Okay. Let me see about the afterlife, right? I just don't want you to be in the dark. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to direct you to uh, the mathematical equation E equals mc squared. That is energy equals mass times light squared. Okay. Um, and this is the science of thermodynamics. The laws of, according to thermodynamics, which states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. And so, when you look at this law, and you look at our vessel, we know that the physical flesh uh, returns to the earth. We borrow, we're trustees, we borrow this flesh from the earth, and then it returns to the earth. Uh, But we have something, a ka ba, within us, the ka and the ba, the soul and the spirit. It actually never dies. It's a part of consciousness, the grand central force of the universe. And so it cannot be created nor destroyed. It just is. It just exists. And we incarnate into these vessels, and we are able to live in the 3D, while part of us, while living in the 3D, exists in the other planes as well. And so, uh, according to mathematics and science, we do not die. So we're looking at, uh, for example, when you look into the heavens, that's right, RS. The circle never ends. When you look into the heavens, you're actually looking into the past. When you look up in the sky, you're looking in the past. Why? Because um, the events that's taking place in the heavens have already happened. They exploded. Those stars and everything exploded, and uh, it takes time, according to the density of this Earth in the 3D. It takes time for that to catch up to this Earth. So um, when you look at the applied science of the number nine, let me see if you can see that here. Can you see that? Okay. The ancients taught of the nine bodies: the Ket, which is the physical, the Sa, which is spiritual body, the Ib, which is the heart, the Ka, which is the vital essence, the Ba, which is the personality, the Shuat, which is the shadow, the Sekhem, which is form, Rin, which is the name, and the Ak, which is the intellect. These are the nine different bodies that you have that are on a um, cosmic level, and that's comprehended universally by our ancestors. And they knew that we don't die, we just change form. And so a lot of the times, like if you look at the movie, what was that movie that just came out? Not Eternals, Infinity, or the Infant Ones. I think it was, let me look up the Infant Ones. Um, Infinite, yeah, Infinite came out this year. Infinite. When you look at movies like that, they're telling you about this process of reincarnation and keeping, maintaining conscious memory of many of your lives and even beyond that. So when you go from this plane, you just exist on another plane and you have many different bodies. So I hope that was able to answer your question. Green Eye Ant says, can we move to 5D but still be in 3D? Yes, some of us do that when we go to sleep at night, when we astral project or travel. Uh, so, um, Javante Miller, with the fall of this beast system in full swing, what do you propose that we do to protect our family and their safe zone locations? And what would you recommend as a form of self defense? Um, well, let's just be realistic. When they begin to take people from their homes and things like that, there's nothing a lot of people not going to be able to do outside of self defense. So, first will come the starvation period. So, they're going to try to starve you out. You already see that in effect. Go up on all the prices, print more fiat, and buy more of the debt, which will create inflation, which will crash the supply chain, and that's what's happening. So you want to stock up, not just on food and resources that will help you survive, but also on self-defense goods. So if you're used to going to the range, you better stock up on that. And then also other things that you can use for self defense in that way. So um, you also need to look at the law of flags, and you purchase your flag of your nation, and you have this outside of your home or apartment or complex as a signal to those who will be coming to extrapolate people. Uh, has judgment already taken place for the wicked, or do we still have time to make changes? Um, well, creative beauty asked that question. Um, Time is relative, so you can control the timeline, and that's what this lunar eclipse was about. This partial lunar eclipse was about the control of the timeline. You won't experience this lunar eclipse that just took place on Friday uh, for another long time, and uh, the last one that took place was 580 years ago. And 580 years ago was in the 1400s, where we as a people at Al Andalusia ruled the world, and we were in a period where we were falling. In the next 51 years, we were in a process of falling from rulership, and we fell in 1492. In 1492, they created time loops and time warps to enter into this atmosphere. And I say them, I'm talking about different beings in the elite that's still in power now, that call themselves ascended masters, but they was empowered to be able to create this chaos on Earth and take us in a different direction. And Charles Martel, the Hammer, and Charlemagne, they were a part of our downfall, and they had help from these beings or entities, and by them creating this time loop, this created a world axis of a restart in history. And right now, this taking place again in 2021. But we beginning of this already was set up for centuries now. But now you're looking at um, this lunar eclipse that just took place is a revisiting of that period. Because if you look at the time period we're in now, 2021, it's not really 2021. uh, the Albion, or European society, the Western society, what they call themselves, have added 580 years to the calendar. Okay, so it's really 1443 or 1444. And so when they added 580 years to the calendar, they added this amount of time into the calendar to rewrite themselves back into history and to write you out of history. And so right now, you see this time period was revisited. Okay, it was revisited so that you can be able to counter this. Okay, and get back in tune with nature and the planets versus being in tune with man-made timeline systems. So, you know, judgment versus having time. Time is relative to what you're dealing with. So, um, you can control time when you control the forces of nature, and that's what I would point you in a direction to learn how to master the elements. Tammy says, can we communicate with loved ones who have passed on, and will we see them again when we transition from this life to the next? um, that was a part of our culture, being able to include being able to communicate with our loved ones that passed on. It's called like including them into our life. So our ancient ancestors viewed the living and the dead as one. Today we only view the living as uh, the most dominant factor. But back then we knew that it was a cycle. Okay, birth, death, rebirth. We knew that there was a cycle, and you can still speak to them now. Um, you still can do these things, but um, you know, this is a part of the rituals or systems that we once practiced. A lot of our people still do. It's just the ones over here in North America are spooked out about it because they haven't been outside the world to view life. Um, but it still exists. BB says, "Are we still in the Aquarian age?" Yes. Uh, Abimelech Harlem Yehuda says, "Is it your opinion or facts? What does the Bible say?" Well, you can't say, "Is it my opinion or facts?" and bring up the Bible when your bloodline predates the Bible. So you're worshiping something that uh, in your DNA is older than. Um, and the Bible in itself is an opinion. Okay, so uh, over here, and that's what I just said earlier, over here in America, North America, we've been presented the Bible in one form, which is a religious form. You go around the world, they don't see it as only a religious form. They see it as a social engineering form, a political form. They see it in many different aspects because they know that the origins of where it came from. A lot of the stories in there have been copied and pasted from Kemet. And so these are your ancient stories. And so you still hold true to them, but there's something that you're missing from the big picture. Okay. Well, Abimelech said, no, no, it's not in our culture to communicate with the dead. Well, that's not true. I mean, see, and this is what I said, just gross ignorance. When you look at how our people, even to this day, they will pour out libation to their dead homies. That's communicating with the dead. This is what our ancestors used to do. It's still in us, even in our ignorance. We would still communicate with our loved ones and deceased ones. We'll still have pictures to honor them. We will still say, even to this day, in love and memory of our loved ones. So to say that is showing you the dogma that our people is stuck on in this country. When you go outside the country, get your access to books that predates these things or books that fill in the gaps. You wouldn't say these type of statements. So it's a lot of things that we have to clear up mentally um, to even be able to attack the bigger situation. That's right, BB. Yes, please let them know that we were here before the enslavement Bible. RS says the Bible is a version or opinion of those who in, uh, interpreted it. Okay, Tammy says, thanks. Will I see her again and other loved ones when I transition? My mom just passed, and the only child really miss her. Well, I send my condolences and sorry to hear that. But there are methods and ways that you can do that. Just like building up the altars and things like that. No different than um, you know things that they would like to. You knew that they would like because again, going back to this ancient science right here, knowing that the bodies were not separate from each other. Okay, knowing that they all correlated with each other, we knew that certain foods and drinks actually that your loved ones liked, it actually still fed their soul. So yeah. Javante Miller says, "What is the relativity of acquiring gold, silver, and precious metals during the fall of this beast system? And how can these precious metals be used to create a form of commerce during the fall?" So, a great question, Javante Miller. Acquiring the precious metals of the earth, you have the actual gold and silver, which is backed by the Constitution, and which is lawful, and which the international world understands and know as trade and know the laws of trade when it comes to precious metal, and you'll be better off without having a fiat currency that is fallen or have fell at that point, where nobody wants to accept it. So you'll be able to trade with gold and silver versus no one want to take the Federal Reserve note in exchange. Um, and I would, to follow that up, I would say that it would be better to get gold and silver and precious metals if you can at this time, so that you'll be able to trade. You use you'll start saving and storing up your copper, and your silver is for everyday purchases, and your gold is for big ticket items. Like if you want a yacht or skyscraper or a castle or mansion, that's what you use. But if you want like just the silver, you just want the silver to use for trading with, you buying groceries, or you want exchange for clothes or things like that, everyday items. So okay, all right. He say, peace of love. FIFO says some peace from Salt Lake City, Utah. Noble. Peace of love. Now, Utah. Utah is Moab, Utah. They have a place out there in Moab. How far are you away from Moab, Utah? Um, okay. Abimelech, Harlem, Yehuda, and don't think, brother, that being I'm just trying to go against you. I'm trying to get you to see a point that was hidden from us, to help elevate you and get you in a mindset to where you are a master of the forces of nature, and you can control nature itself, like the ones who are doing it against you, but they're pushing a book to you while they're using the science. So I'm trying to get you in that mind frame. So I see why it says, what about sovereign DeLorean? Well, you know, um, the concept is good. It just needs more structure around the enforcement of it, I would say. FIFA says, Moab, I was just there last summer. I'm about okay, yeah, Moab, Utah. That's another place where a lot of our history and mounds and things are as well, and sacred sites are. FIFA says, my question for you is, one of my inspirations, Hassan Campbell made a great point. How can your people ask for reparation, restitution when y'all have been brainwashed so much? Well, uh, that's a good question. That's like a child asking for um, the Corvette or the mansion and all these things when they have not proven themselves to be responsible. So, yeah, I agree. That would, it would defeat the purpose if you get all these things and then you just give it right back. You know how people would go buy Reebok, Nike, gold, everything. Um, you know, Italy. We just want to give it right back to them. So, oh wait, I missed. Tim Calisipi said they say Moses buried in Moab if he is real. Creative Beauty says, can we change the future through mastering? Of course, definitely, yes, yes, you can. You could definitely change the future through mastering the elements. You yourself have a lot of elements that you are comprised of from the atom, and you have all of the elements within you: fire, earth, air, and water. So most of your body is comprised of water. You are carbon based, meaning the fire. You are earth based because you come from the earth, and you have oxygen flowing throughout your body. So you are the elements. You just have not learned how to master them yet, and that's the key. And that's the elite that we taught this science to. They are continuously using these elements to control, manipulate, uh, cause mass genocide, gentrification, um, you name it. Devontae Miller says Memphis, Tennessee is south of Cairo, Illinois. On the bank of Memphis, Tennessee is the Great American Pyramid. Yep. The Mississippi is the Nile. Can the Masonic science be applied to the biblical book of Exodus? Yes. I mean, the science can be applied to many things, many books. But I just don't want you to get caught up in one book. I just want you to try to go back to the source of a lot of these things. Yeah. Yeah. That's right, Sharita. Sharita. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. I see why it says when you come out the matrix, you will find out your whole life has been an illusion. Better decalcify your pineal gland and wake your tail up. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Do it before you're forced to. Cash Money says, so which religion has the right one? You got Christianity, Kemet, Hebrew, Israelites, Moors. Um, you got black people saying that they are Anunnaki. Some of us calling on Thoth, a moon. I'm so confused. Help me. That's a good question, Cash Money. Religion deals with, you got to break down the word religion. Religion deals with the science of tying one to law and science. Okay, philosophy and science. So it's realigning yourself to the science. And what science is that? The science of nature, being one with nature. And so when you look at the root of religions, you trace the root of religions, and then you'll start getting to the source. Um, so then that, you know, cuts out the confusion on what you should be worshiping or who you should be following and things like that. Because it's really all self. It's really you. It goes back to you as the source. Okay, you are part of the central force having an experience. So BB said it. BB says that you must read other books. The Bible and Quran are not the be all for Black people. It's not the only book. And that's why I didn't want to really get into this, but there is just so much information that is available in this age of information that is uh, will help you to see that all of these are copy and paste that gets away from the science of you, and that's what it's all about. B. Taylor says, "Peace and love, much." She said, "Religion, in my opinion, keeps you bound." That's true. Well, okay. For the study, to start off, study the Kabbalion. This will give you the foundation for the workings of nature. Okay, the forces of nature, the laws of the universe, and when you comprehend these laws, you begin to see how um, the dogmatic practices pushed on our people cause them to think in a certain way. And people think when you hear uh, not going to church or not being for the church or for a religion that you are against order, you are against these things. But that's not what I'm saying here, because that's how, again, that even goes with the training. So if you go back to these things like the Kabbalah to start off, this will give you a comprehension of how the laws of nature and the science works, and how it's all supposed to bring you closer to the oneness, so you will not harm, injure. Um, that's right, Sharita. Sharita, you are the church. You are the great circle. So it won't cause you to not have boundaries. Uh, it'll actually help you to not injure things outside of yourself or yourself. So it really helps you with self mastery. Um, that's right, RS, the Kabbalion, the three initiates. Um, FIFO says, I want to thank you and B Miles real quick for y'all's good energy, helping me be more positive, helping me believe that the Creator going to help us make a way out of no way. I want to see y'all rise again. I appreciate that, FIFO. RS says, yes, the DNA is the repository of ancient memory. Yes, it is. 43 Coco 1 says, in other words, the baby got the gun. That's right. Um, uh, Green Iron said, I have heard some people has had a bad experience opening their pineal gland. What's a safe way of doing this? Well, um, for one, when you look at opening or decalcifying the pineal gland, a lot of times people are so clogged up from the aluminum through the toothpaste or the water. Uh, all of this estrogen being pumped in the plastic bottle of waters that you drink. Um, that whole process of decalcifying can be painful in itself, just like detoxing or losing weight. The whole process can be painful. It's not a bad thing. It's just a process. So, you know, it is no, uh, it's not, they're using it to cause more fear for people to do it. So that's what I would try to bring to your attention. Lord and Lashari Bay says, our people was under the 42 principles of Ma'at. That's right, the 42 principles of Ma'at, the 42 negative confessions, or the 42 declarations of innocence. Okay, and these are recitals that you would say, um, that, will help you in the right mind for it to have those boundaries.
Any more questions, fam? We're gonna go on for maybe about like 5 more minutes, maybe about like 6, 8 more minutes. We're gonna take maybe like two more questions, and we're gonna close out for the night.
FIFA says, have you ever considered that the city constructs on the earth are like cancerous tumors that this system we're caught in is like a cancer on earth? Yeah. And again, it's all relative to us being able to control these things. Um, Dark winter is coming. Uh, I'm hearing about tropical storms about to happen. Yeah, a lot of the weather patterns they are manipulating and targeting fault lines and causing a lot of these things to happen. That's right, BB. RS says I have fragmented memories of my past life. Okay, let me see. Javante Miller, are the 613 laws in the Torah of relativity during this great shift? Every thing that you are, well, I can say everything, but a lot of things that you're experiencing is relative. And that's why I said go to the Kabbalion to study the law of relativity. You know, because it teaches you the laws that are applied. Everything on Earth is governed by order. Order is broken down into the laws that um, shows you the why. IC says, "Are you familiar with the UCC novel?" Yes. Rio says, "Will the so-called blacks get our revenge on our oppressors?" Um, I will say that you will get your just due, and the universe is let's put it, you're not gonna get nothing if you do nothing. Put it like that. That's right. Revenge is here. Sun is heating up. That's right. So the sun is already uh doing a lot for you, whether you know it or not. To your oppressors, is wiping them out a lot. Is wiping them out a lot. To the point where the birth rate is at a negative rate. Creative Beauty says how to protect ourselves from attacks of new, let's say Kool-Aid uh, situations. One way is to take care of your health, cut down on the toxins that you intake, and then also putting in things that will naturally boost up your immune system will help that. And then if you already have taken the Kool-Aid, there's ways to get this stuff out of your body too. So atoms, carbon, electrons, pH channel, unity forces. With we are Mississippians build house apartments for close friends. Homeless treat people who look like you. Kind of build. Agree with that. I see. Can you elaborate on the UCC as opposed to nationalizing yourself? Uh, can you elaborate on the UCC and the difference of getting nationalized? Well, the reason why you have the Uniform Commercial Code in place now is partially due to the reason why they don't acknowledge or honor the law of uniform commercial law, which deals with international law and the law of nations, and it deals with birthrights. So when they don't acknowledge birthrights, to one degree. They are stealing your identity and law, and then calling you something you're not. By the time you finally wake up and realize, they put things in your face like UCCs and all these other things to keep you outside of your birthright. And so, if you were to go to other countries and try to become a citizen, go through that process and see what it's like to become a naturalized citizen or have dual citizenship. They won't be talking nothing about no UCCs. But only over here they talk about that because they know a lot of people waking up and they want to keep these things in your face to distract you. Um, FIFO says, how can you detox the Kool-Aid, or are you not allowed to speak about that? Well, it's not about not being allowed. It's about being responsible so that just like, for example, when all these celebrities was getting drinking the Kool-Aid and they actually came down with positive for Kool-Aid. And then they started to take ivermectin. And then now all of a sudden that people start getting hip to that, and then they started to say, okay, well, you no longer can take that because now you gotta get prescribed, and they banning it. So situations like that, we try to keep those type of things secure, uh them off so we can make sure that people still have access. Miles Million says, how do you feel about the metaverse? It sounds harmless, but I'm hearing it's part of CERN, aka portal openings. I know kids who play video games will think nothing of it. How do you feel about this? Well, Meta is presented because the elite are fallen, so they have nothing else to use but to try to continue to pull you back into the system. And if I can get a creative way to pull you back in the system, you have children who, for some children, they've been used to staying in side uh, most of their lives, and especially with this pandemic. And so all they have is video games and internet and social media. So that's going to drag them further into it. Um, and I will never say it's not harmless. It is causing harm on so many levels. It is actually a part of the engineering process that big time corporations are buying a lot of the data that's being collected from Facebook from your user time. They're selling it to these companies so that they can start to create an algorithm or control an algorithm, so where they can start to implement this and put this in AI, and AI will then become more human like in their mechanics, and then this will be the extinction of human society, because you already have places like Canada creating a utopia where they're putting up cameras and things like that to emulate a metaverse before they came out with metaverse. So Mark Zuckerberg putting out metaverse, and his board is doing this in efforts to keep you in a controlled system that you are almost getting out of fully. So it's only to do that, and then of course Microsoft is going to follow next year and come up with their own version. Um, so what they don't catch or target with people, users that are 30 plus, they are going to try to get workers that are in the work field with their teams and things like that. So um, this is all about cloud computing and using your system. So just like this, if I can track and tell you that you're going to buy a bag of chips um, within 5 months, based off the algorithm, based off the stuff you watch, based off the stuff you search or browse, or the videos or photos you look at. If I ban those chips 5 months from now, by the time that you're about to start buying more of those chips, now I can start to have more control and get you to comply and do whatever I say, because now I have control. And this is what they're going to start using with that. Um, and of course, you look at what meta means. Meta already is, dealing with uh, death, and so we already have a death culture amongst our people. So they're trying to bring you further into the death culture, and a lot of our people are waking up through this age of Aquarius, the Great Awakening. They're being pulled out of that system, and so um, Mark Zuckerberg is trying to do what he can to um, save his company because Facebook is going down, and so that's what that is a part of. Creative Beauty says, "Are we moving into something completely new, or have we been here before?" Yes, we have been here before. Um, this is the story of dark versus light on Earth. We have always experienced these situations where the dark ones or users of the dark energy have been warned against those of the light energy, and so um, in the end, light always prevail. And so we've seen the story before. That's right, Mother Sonia. Yes, I agree. Leave Facebook alone. I'm good. How important, Javante Mill, how important is raising our frequency during this great shift? And in terms of food, is Dr. Sebi methodology the best at raising the frequency, or do you know? Yeah, raising your frequency is definitely important because it's going to keep you ahead of what's happening. So a lot of times, with information, even that I get, I can channel because I'm keeping my vibrations high, and many of all of you can do the same thing. This is something that we was able to do and tap into the electrical grid or the ley line that we all connected to, the universal collective consciousness. And so it's very important. Dr. Sabi, getting you to eat that way, I definitely would say is a good way to go. It cures. It not only helps you, heal, but it also cures as well. So it's a great method. Alkaline, looking into that. This whole veganism thing, though, with this agenda they pushing. Um, there's an agenda with it because a lot of people getting soy, and that's not the best for our people. So
We're going to do one more question and we're going to close it out.
yeah. Um, uh, let me see. Let me see the last one. Cash Money says, "What do y'all think of people when they say they went to heaven or hell when they had a near-death experience or they had vision?" Um, well, just do your research on heaven and hell. You know, in the ancient thought, there's three views of what heaven is and what hell is. Um, so, a lot of people, say that they seen in these different places and things like that. Um, I would just research these things for yourself. Um, okay, all right. This is the last one for real this time. Angela Caraway. Okay, we got two of them. Oh, we just jump. Oh, man. And just okay. Brother Noah, you mentioned the flag you was cut off. Okay, I remember what I said about the flag, but if you need to get your nation's flag, okay, and just to give you a biblical reference for those who are interested in that, I don't. You can use the Bible. Yes, you can use Bible as part of your guide, but I would caution you to use other things so you can grow beyond that. But when they said Moses told the Israelites to put the blood on the doorpost, this is what they were talking about. Put your flag on your doorpost, to cover you when international law is invoked. So thank you, Javante Miller. Thank you, Brother Noble Isaiah L. Your wonderful work may the Most High El Shaddai bless you, protect, and enrich you on this path. Appreciate it. And likewise, see, I'm not opposed or against. This is just trying to give you all some thoughts and share and build with you. And we are building with each other. So,
Yep, that's right. So, any more last thoughts you want to say, Nubu Isaiah?
definitely grateful for, being able to share some of these things with you all again, and hopefully we could continue these builds. Don't forget to show support to Brother B Miles, and may your soul find satisfaction. In other words, Hotep.
Yes, peace, everyone. Good night. And don't forget to subscribe to Nubu Isaiah channel, The Cosmic God 8, and also like, share, subscribe, and also donate to this platform as well. And peace, family. Good night.